What up, world? Welcome to another episode of Coast to Coast. My name is Jose,
And I'm Darian.
and today we have a very, very special guest. All of our guests have been very, very special, and I appreciate all the stories that I've heard throughout, the time. But this guest, I've known him for so long. He's a legend, super talented, has recorded music, in the industry that I'm sure you've heard. Let's give a big welcome to Hakan Maverick.
Oh man.
How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you, dude.
Man, thank you. Same, likewise.
And Darian, it's a pleasure to meet you as
Yes,
well.
I'm so excited to finally be able to meet you. Jose says such great things.
Yeah,
Oh
I've
man.
been a huge fan. So I want to get into some of the questions. What first got you into music?
I think music was always like, it wasn't like an interest in terms of like this is what I want to do. But hearing music growing up, it always moved me. But what got me playing music, I was watching Free Willy with my parents, and we had just moved to Long Island, and there was a piano in the house, and I hadn't played music, but I heard that song by Michael Jackson in the movie.
Hold me.
Me like the river Jordan. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I heard that melody, and I ran upstairs to the piano and just started playing it by ear, and that kind of just like sparked, the interest in like, oh, whoa, this is cool.
Mhm.
And then, growing up, I taught myself trumpet, played in school, in elementary school, middle school, high school, and then got bored of that, picked up the guitar by middle school and started forming bands. And then I think it was after high school that I really got into production.
Mhm. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Would you say that so Michael Jackson inspired you to make music, or I know when we were growing up, you were a big, hip hop fan. Uh, who inspired you?
Everyone, man. Like everyone that I listened to. But Michael Jackson was like the spark,
Mm-hmm.
that ignited the fire. And
Mm-hmm.
then that, we connected on hip hop at a young age, like fourth grade. We used to chop it up and talk about what. We like. Um, so hip hop, jazz, Miles Davis. I grew up like listening to a lot of jazz, like Billie Holiday, Frank Sinatra. That's what was in the house. And then like pop music and popular music, I had to kind of discover on my own because my parents aren't like avid music fans, and I'm a first generation American, so everything that they were listening to was like Arabic and Turkish records.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like hip hop I had to find on my own, and pop music and rock, and so I think all of that has shaped me and it influences me to this day in whatever I do.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, Michael is that dude.
Yeah.
Michael is definitely that dude.
It's funny you just said that your parents aren't the biggest fans of music, right? Do you remember the time when you walked up to your parents and was like, "Hey, can you guys buy me a trumpet?" Like, what did they say to you?
Oh man, I was so nervous. Dude. I remember because it was in a catalog. It was a service merchandise catalog. You remember them?
Mm-hmm.
Service merchandise. There was a
Yeah.
store in Bay Harbor Mall right by us.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
they used to have the mail order catalog, and I saw a trumpet in there, and it was like $100 or $200, something like that. And as a kid, you're like, oh my God, that's like what people make a year, not knowing that you know what I mean. But you think
Yeah.
that that's how much that money is. And I asked my dad. I was so nervous to ask him, and I finally built up enough courage to ask him. And I'm like, Dad, can I get this? And he looks at, he's like, you know what? Yeah. But his thing, I think his thought process was because he's an artist,
Mhm.
like he paints art, and his thought process was like, yeah, I could actually take photos of you playing it and then paint those images. It wasn't like, oh yeah, you could be a trumpet player. It was like, oh, I could do something with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. It was
Could
crazy.
you explain, so like I don't know you at all, so could you like explain to me like what you do now?
So I'm behind the scenes, creating the music, writing the songs, maybe playing an instrument on a song, on a record, and just putting the whole product together. My role is different almost every time, on every project. So let's say you're an artist, you want to do a song. Sometimes I work directly with the artist. Sometimes I work directly with the songwriter. Sometimes I work directly with another producer. But my thing is, okay, you come to me and you say, I want to do a song. And I say, okay, what's going on in your life? What emotion do you want to evoke in this song? Because to me, like, emotion, that's what music is to me, is just audible emotions. And if you tell me what you're going through in life, I feel like I know exactly what chords to play to make that emotion come out, and then build around that. So I'll make the beats, I'll co-write the songs, and just have a finished product at the end of the day.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Sorry.
Thanks. Thanks, dude.
I don't know anybody like, well, now I know, but like nobody else I know has a job that they're doing that. I'm like, everybody I know is like a teacher or,
which is probably a smarter move.
Like,
probably a smarter move, honestly. It's such a, it's like an industry, like, yeah, the creative process is like the best time, but the industry in itself is just like, it could wear you down. It can mess with your mental, your emotions. So you have to kind of build thick skin. You have to almost play the game in a way,
Yeah.
But I always just kind of remind myself that I do this because I love it, and not try to get wrapped up in, the BS that comes along with it,
Yeah. So you said something about the creative process. What is that like for you?
It's like the greatest. It's like a high. Hold on, I'm gonna shut the door because the airplane just there. It's, especially if there's like chemistry between myself and the co-writer, or whoever I'm working with. It's like, it's so intimate. It's so just freeing and liberating, and just to be able to create something from scratch. And at the end of the day, like, yo, we made this. Like, it was silence before, and now we painted a picture with sound. Yeah, my favorite, like, there are like these songs that are just having fun, partying. That's not really what I'm into making. I like to dig deep and like make something that might make you cry or make you smile. Like, I love cheesy love songs. Like, that's like, because I feel like everyone has those emotions, they just don't want to sound corny,
Yeah.
but it's real,
Yeah.
So like, I love that process, because especially when you walk in the door to the studio, the ego is at the door. And it's hard to work with anyone with an ego. Like, we have to all respect each other. If I write something that they're not feeling, I want them to say, I don't like that. I'll be like, okay, perfect, good. Let's try something else. With no like hurt feelings. It's just a matter of respect. Okay, and vice versa. I want to be able to say, I don't like that. Let's do something else.
Sure.
And just being able to, being comfortable, being vulnerable in front of someone else, and, having understanding with whatever you're writing about. That's always, I think, very important.
Yeah.
It's kind of like therapy mixed with music,
That's really cool.
Yeah. It's fun.
So, you said you're into the cheesy love songs. What's your favorite cheesy love song?
Oh man. I don't know. There's so many. Like NSYNC got some, Backstreet Boys got some.
Yes.
There's one by Dej Loaf that was out recently called No Fear. And I had the song on repeat. And it's not like I don't know if it's cheesy, but it has like that cheesy pop vibe, but it's not. To me, it's not cheesy. I don't know. Probably all of them, honestly. Anything that's catchy and good, you know? Your body is a wonderland.
Oh, yeah.
You know? That's a good question, though. I'm trying to think if there is like a specific one. I can't think of one. There's just so many.
Yeah.
And I like writing cheesy love songs. Like that's fun to me.
I wanna ask a question because we're on that topic right now, right? So you you love it seems like you have a big love for R&B music. We've had some great artists in the past, Whitney Houston, the Beatles, and so on. And right now on the radio, I feel like there's some good hits out there, right? Especially when it comes to hip hop, because that's what I mainly listen to. But there's not like, I feel like there hasn't been like a classic song. Yeah, I might have a song on repeat for, a week or a month. But being that you're behind the scenes with music and, you're in touch with these artists, do you ever think that we'll have a classic, album again? Like, or a legend like Whitney Houston? Can we build to that again?
I think so. I think they're out there. It's just they're not getting, they're not in the forefront for whatever reason. I think the consumers are what kind of control the market. And that whole era of like incredible singers, don't get me wrong, they're out there. There are great R&B artists, but the sound of today is driven by, and I guess always is driven by consumers, and they just want to hear something fun. You don't hear those crazy vocal runs that we used to hear, like the Boys to Men runs or the Whitney Houston runs. I wish I could do it myself. I can't. But I hope so. I mean, they say history repeats itself. I hope so. It's out there. Jasmine Sullivan just dropped something that's amazing.
I don't know who it is.
Oh man, she's so good. She had that song, "I Bust the Windows Out Your Car."
Oh, okay.
She just dropped a song, and there's like a live video of it. I still listen to like, those real deal singers, R&B singers especially. But it seems like it's become such a niche market. It's not like how it used to be even. Like a Mariah Carey song, R&B song would be number one on the charts. Now we have WAP is number one on the charts. And I had a long conversation about this last night, about WAP.
Okay.
About women are doing what women have started to do what men were doing in terms of open about sexuality, like maybe even more so than what men were doing, and in a way I think it's awesome that, okay, like, there's no double standard anymore. And I think it can be empowering, like, but it's just the content of it. Like, if you were to write a women empowerment song today that was clean, it might not go number one. But because this is so loud and in your face, and like the women are the boss on that record, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just speaks so much louder. You know what I mean? I feel like there's so many different ways to look at it. It's all perspective and how you view things,
That's for sure. Yeah. I think we talked about that, didn't we, Jose? About that song?
We did, yeah. I've had a disconnect with hip hop for so long. So, I mean, I look at like my influential artists like Nas and, you know,
He's my
Queen
favorite.
Latifah, things like that. You know what I mean? So I love lyrics. I love words. And when it's just, I mean, even like, I mean, we talked about it the other day, even like, you know what I'm saying? No offense to Yin Yang Twins, but I don't like, you know what I'm saying, their profanity as well. Like I want to hear like lyrics and hooks, and I want it to be a song and not something that's just going to be played out. So when it comes to like WAP, yeah, it's cool, you know, good for them, but it's not something that, you know, I'll necessarily download onto my Apple Music. You know what I'm saying? And I have unlimited, you know, memory on my. I pay $15 a month. I still don't want it on my thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
good, big ups to them. But that's not something I'm interested in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Is that same goes to you, Karen?
Oh yeah. I actually, when I listened to that song for the first time, I actually recorded my reaction, and I said to my friend, and I didn't save it. I'm mad at myself, but my face, I was like, gosh, I look mortified. But then I sit there and I listen to men sing, you know, or rap about the same type of thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But in my mind, when a woman is saying it, and there's a double standard thing, and I'm like, but why do I feel that way?
I think we're just programmed that women are supposed to be like this and men are supposed to be like this.
Yeah.
And now things are, with not just the double standard thing, just everything in this world is becoming way less censored, especially in our country. Like we could say and do whatever we want. We have that freedom of speech. We have that power that, you know, in other countries, like you'd get killed for saying some of the stuff that people say.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there are things that are coming out nowadays that are just like making people rethink roles of, you know, and who writes this? Who says that women are supposed to be like this and men are supposed to be like this?
Yeah.
Like,
So I really thought about it. I was like, I shouldn't think that way. And it is because we're programmed to think that way. And so I listened to it again, and I'm like, it's not my cup of tea. Like I don't sit there and listen to it, but like props to them for, you know, for doing it. Great for them, but not gonna listen to it.
Yeah, I would have thought it was so funny if you said, you know, I listened to it again and yo, that song goes.
Oh, man. No.
Yeah, I mean, it is entertaining. It is comical, and you know, it makes me giggle. It's not like, you know, it's not like something that's going to make you feel emotionally like, oh, get all caught up in your feelings, you know. And that's what I miss about
It might if you're on ecstasy.
What's up?
I said it might if you're on ecstasy.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I guess everything when you're on ecstasy. Not that I've done it, but I've never tried it. I hear good things though. No, I'm playing.
But I'm the same way. Like I like to have like I like the emotions behind music. But I'm laughing because you brought up NSYNC and Backstreet Boys earlier. And those are my two favorite boy bands at all time because I grew up listening to them.
Who were you more?
Backstreet Boys for sure.
Okay. Who was your guy?
Brian.
Okay. I think he was like the better singer in the group.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But
of course you do. That's your man.
Yeah. But it just I like listening to it still to this day, or listening to them to this day, because it brings back good memories. Like I just remember being in the car with my dad, and I know I said Backstreet Boys was my favorite, but NSYNC, like we, you know, bye bye bye, like doing the whole dance routine in the car with my dad.
The head thing, the head thing.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you know, I like that type of music where it just brings back good memories, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think I know the whole NSYNC discography because I grew up with a sister, and she was the biggest NSYNC fan. So I heard those records all day, all night, and they're so well written You know, they're so well produced. Even to this day, like I was listening and saying Backstreet Boys, they had like the same producers and songwriters working on
Wow.
those records.
Mhm.
And Backstreet Boys was on the other day on the radio. And I'm like, yo, this beat goes. Boom, boom, da, 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 boom, boom, da. All right. Like it's hard. Like, and there's always a stigma for a young male. I don't know how it is now, but like if you were a young male listening to Backstreet Boys or NSYNC or one of these boy bands, you were looked at or labeled as gay, or you know what I mean? They would throw these, you know, these names at you. Like, how does your preference of music or your taste of music define your sexuality? I have
Mm.
no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like even as a kid, like I was like, why can't it be cool to like Bop is a dope song. Like, come on now.
Hanson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
song goes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's
You
so
know
fun.
what's so funny you say that? I remember going to Tower Records. Do y'all remember Tower Records?
Of course.
And Black and Blue by Backstreet Boys came
Mm-hmm.
out, and so did Jay-Z's The Blueprint album, I believe. And so I went to Tower Records, and like you said, it was that stigma, but I still liked them on the low. So I ended up going to the register and putting Jay-Z's album on top, just so that they wouldn't realize that I was also buying Backstreet Boys. You know what I'm saying? I still have it.
Sad.
It's beautiful music.
Yeah, it's sad that there is a stigma on like what music that a certain gender should like. I don't know if it's the same. I think things are more open now. Like I don't think that, I hope that there isn't that stigma anymore because it's music, you know, it just sounds, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's really that stigma anymore because so I'm a fourth grade teacher and I'm just thinking about like the music that all the kids listen to, and it's just so all over the place, and they were all just, you know, coming together, boys and girls, and like, oh, you like that song too? Like that's a great song. So I think that we're going, you know, heading in the right direction for that one. So
That's awesome. So
yeah.
like dudes, like, you know, young boys will listen to Bieber and
Oh
it's,
yeah, for sure.
oh,
I
that's
have no
awesome.
shame about it at all. I'm like, you go, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it stays that way.
I think it will. I think the world is just more acceptant of everything now. Not everything, you know.
Yeah,
There's obviously
some things.
some things, maybe music, you know.
Yeah.
It's just it's a crazy time we're living in, and I think maybe this is just growing pains, you know, that we have to go through, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't
Being
know.
that we're on you know, new age society, how do you feel the internet has impacted the music business?
Oh man. Well, the internet kind of was like, you know, like Napster. Remember Napster and then
Yeah.
LimeWire and all those. That obviously hurt the music industry like a lot because they were selling records like crazy, and now people are getting it for free online. I think the biggest mistake they made was go after Napster as opposed to teaming up with them and say, hey, you have a cool idea that we can monetize with. Let's join forces and build something that's beneficial for both of us, for both parties, you know? I think it's also the internet now for independent artists, it's amazing because like there's online distribution companies. Let's say you want to be an artist and you want to put out a record. You pay $20 a year, right? And they put it on every streaming platform for you, iTunes Store, Tidal, every, you know, Apple Music, Spotify, and you're on there. And you're keeping all of your royalties. You don't need to pay somebody. You know what I mean? No one's dipping into your pocket. And in that regard, it's awesome. In another regard, it's like it's become so saturated. Everyone's making music, whether it's good or bad, you know? And obviously that's subjective. You know, what I find good, you might find bad. What you find good, I might not like, you know? But it's kind of, obviously CDs are not selling like how they used to.
Mm-hmm.
It's a streaming market, which is kind of cool because you kind of have everything you want to listen to at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You don't need to go. Remember back in the day, you'd like the single that they have on MTV or on the radio. You're like, oh, now you have to buy the album now, right?
Yeah.
You got to go spend $15 on the album. You buy the album, and that's the only song you like on the album.
I know.
You know. So, and they were caking from those records. Like they were making so much money, and like for someone to sell sometimes 1 million copies the first week was like they did. Now people are lucky if they go platinum, you know. But it has its pros and cons, I guess. I think more pros than anything, especially for the creative or the consumer. Like the consumer, it's amazing. As a fan, I could listen to everything I want to listen to and put it on a playlist, and you know, it's pretty cool.
I spent hours and hours and hours trying to burn my own DJ set list, my own playlist. You know what I mean? Because I would go to school, I would walk to school, but I couldn't carry, 15 albums, for my one, CD player. So I would spend hours and hours, and I would even remember going back home to listen to Hot 97. Shout outs to Hot 97 when Angie Martinez was around. My favorite, voice personality, just to listen to what she was listening to, because whatever she was listening to, that's what I wanted to be on, and I remember just taking my time, and I would give CDs out to people in school, whoever wanted it. I was always going to Jamaica Avenue, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Queens, because they always had the biggest collection in new music that I could remember. So I would take the dollar van right to Jamaica and then have new music the next day. So yeah, I see the pros in having, music streaming, because now I don't even have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't have to take my time to download these playlists. I could do it in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But that goes back to the question I asked earlier. You said some people are putting trashy music out there. I want to listen to a Frank Sinatra now. I don't want to continue listening to Frank Sinatra because I'm gonna still continue to listen to him. But what I'm trying to say is I want somebody to come out who is a legend, but talking about views today, talking about how the coronavirus affected them in their love story. And I want there to be legends out there today, but there's that problem where people are just promoting trashy music, and it's just like, man, like come up with something new. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. I'm sorry. That's just.
No, I agree with you. I like today, like Fridays, I do this Instagram live show that you've tuned into, and sometimes like people send in songs where every artist is saying the same thing. Like, especially with rap music, like, okay, we get it. You're cool. You all got this money, and you got all of these girls. And, you sell drugs. You know what I mean? You're a gangster, whatever. You're no different than the dude that I just listened to. What makes you an artist? What is the art behind this? You know what I mean? And I think that's what's missing. It's music has become so disposable. It's like hot song today, and I think that's the con of certain music, where it's here today, gone tomorrow. It's like, like you said, who's gonna be the Frank Sinatra where, he's around back 50s, 50s, and we're still listening to him today. Who's gonna be listened to in 40, 50 years from now?
I fear no one.
Yeah.
I fear no one. Because I doubt that we'll be listening to WAP 40 years from now.
Nah, but like maybe Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars got some beautiful records.
Yeah.
Adele is incredible. Yeah, Beyonce. They're out there. These icons are out there.
True. You're right. Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift.
For real?
Yeah, you actually, I do, because, and I've said this before on the podcast, Taylor Swift, I've been to many concerts, but Taylor Swift is the concert, the most, not the most recent, but the one before that. I went to her concert in Atlanta. It was the best concert I had ever been to in my life. I'm talking about balloons coming out the ceiling. I'm talking about, color changing wristbands. And I was just like shocked. You know what I'm saying? For a concert that I only paid $30 for, best concert
Wow.
I'd ever been to in my life.
Wow. Only 30
Yeah.
bucks for a Taylor Swift show.
Yeah, it was I want to say I bought the tickets like maybe 10 minutes before opening.
Oh
Um
my God.
yeah, and I went on StubHub and got a deal.
That's
Um
amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to sound bites every Friday, right? I think it's fantastic because um you have so much experience in music. You know what I'm saying? You play instruments, you've produced music, but then you have a co-partner who is in the industry as well. So the benefits for artists to be on that is that they get experience from you guys, and you guys share your opinions and your views. Are there any other benefits that artists can get by joining on to your sound bites?
Yeah, I mean, there are people that tune in, every week it's different, the amount of numbers. I think the most amount of viewers at one time that we had was about like 250 that were tuning in. So it's good exposure too.
Yeah.
Every week I have new followers just by doing the show. And I haven't played any music, but some of my buddies who have released music, they hit me up. They're like, yo, I get new followers every week when I submit a song.
Oh, wow.
So that's cool,
Mhm.
that they're getting fans and people are paying attention to them. It's always a good feeling.
Have you ever heard somebody on Soundbite and was like, yeah, I need to work with that person?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
actually worked with one. He's from Jersey. He came out to New York to work last week.
oh, wow.
Was it last week? I lose track of time. I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, but it was recently. I think it was last week. Yeah, no, it was last week. Um, and he came out to New York. There's this artist in Chicago. Her name's Franchica. She's an incredible singer, and I'd love to work with her. I'm waiting for her to come out to New York so we could work.
Yeah.
And then there's another artist in England named Wavy Soph that she has an incredible voice too. So there are those, incredible artists that tune in, and every time they play a song, I'm like, oh, yes, because dude, I'll be listening to some of the stuff and I'm just like, oh my God. You'll see it's entertaining for people to watch, but I'm just sitting there like, when is this over? Like,
Yeah.
And then when that special someone comes through, it's like, oh my God, thank you. You
That's
saved the day.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
So speaking of working with people, who is one person you would like to collaborate with the most?
I think Bruno Mars.
I can see that.
Yeah. Because he's so tasteful. Like, he's not reinventing the wheel with writing, and you could hear that every album and every song is influenced by something before him, where it's like he's kind of paying homage to, who he's inspired by. And I love that because it's like you're giving me this vibe that I had back in the day listening to these records, but you're doing it today, and just his writing approach is just so tasteful. And I think we would click musically. Also, I'd love to work. You gave me one. There's so many.
Okay, you can have a few. Go for it.
Just cut me off. Just cut me off whenever you're like, okay, that's enough. Beyonce would be incredible. Just to hear what she would do, it would be Adele. Like, I would love to sit down and write a song with Adele. Of course, Jay-Z, Nas on the hip hop side. That'd be awesome just to hear their voice on a track I make would be amazing.
I've listened
And
to a few of your beats that you post up, every once in a while. I definitely see you working with somebody like Pharrell. Have you ever worked with Pharrell?
nah, not yet. Not
Okay.
yet. Yeah, no, I could see that too. That's somebody who, once I started getting into production, specifically like hip hop and R&B production, I really gravitated towards Pharrell, especially like, I grew up skateboarding and, he's skateboard P, and I'm like, oh, like he got the same vibe that I got. I related, we both
Yeah,
like the same type of music. And so, yeah, no, that would be dope. That'd be
that's really
super
cool.
dope. Yeah.
Um,
Set it up, Jose.
yeah,
Let's
that's what I was just about to say. I was like, all right,
For
Jose.
Hey, Pharrell,
yeah.
I'll hit you up after this. We're gonna set
Yeah.
that up, sir. Um, if you could change anything about the industry, what would it be?
Um, I mean, it's tough because everything is subjective.
Mhm.
But I would be way in terms of like major label. I don't know. Hold up. There's just so much because especially right now, there's so much going on regarding artists and their masters and labels and
Yeah.
you know, um, I would get rid of like, oh my god, there's so much.
Mhm.
You guys put me in a corner. One thing. You can only do one thing. One thing. I would say. Okay. I would say be more selective of what's marketed in
Mhm.
terms of like talent level and substance.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not to say there shouldn't be that fun, wild stuff. I think there's always room for that. I think there should be a balance.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's what I think. Like, because you want to have fun. You need songs for the party.
Yeah.
You need some wild songs to have fun and kick back and just let loose and not be so serious all the time. Um, but I'd love to see a balance in that.
Mhm.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, so now I'm gonna ask you another. I was gonna say one, but you didn't like the one. So who are some of the people that or artists that you've been listening to recently? Like what's on your playlist right now?
Mhm.
Hmm. There's this new artist that I just like stumbled across named Come. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. It's like Kamauu or something, Kamau or something like that. This dude is dope. It's like soulful and fun. Her is incredible.
Mhm.
I love her. Um, oh my god, I gotta like go into my Spotify or like my title with it. Um, oh man, I don't know. Like I find myself listening to so much older music. Like I was listening to like Brian McKnight the other night and
Mhm.
um, new artists. This kid Tone Stith is incredible R&B singer. If you like R&B, like you'll listen to him and you'll be like, yo, this kid might be the savior for like male R&B.
You said Tone Stiff?
Yeah,
He sounds like a West Coast artist.
I think he's from California. You're probably thinking of what's his name? Tone.
Tone Lock?
Yeah, Tone Loc. Tone Loc. Yeah,
Loc.
he had the voice. Yeah, he got that voice.
I'm gonna look him
Yeah,
up. Tone Stiff.
Tone Stith is dope. Um, oh man, there's so many.
Mhm.
There's so many that don't get the exposure that they should.
Mhm.
Um, hold on. Can I go into my? Is this gonna
Oh,
shut off? If I,
no,
huh?
please go into your
Yeah,
list.
All
go
right.
for it. Go
All
for
right. Cool. I want to see what I've been listening to.
it. Hey, while you're searching, I want to ask a question too. There's so
Hmm.
many music platforms out there: Apple, Spotify, uh,
Laura.
Idol. Being that you're in the music industry, what's the best platform?
Um.
Like, where would I get the most money? Bang for my buck.
Oh, as an artist and a songwriter and a producer, Tidal is going to pays more than any of
Oh,
the others. I believe per 1,000 streams, Tidal pays out $12, whereas Apple Music pays out 5.
oh wow.
Yeah, so there's a big difference. But I found an artist, Jacob Banks, this British dude. Oh my God, bro! You listen to this dude's voice. Oh, you're just
Okay.
like, you get chills. You're just like, oh my God, Jacob
Yeah.
Banks. This guy is amazing.
All right. Yeah, I love listening to music, man. I'm
I did
definitely
too. That's why I wanted to know what else he had because I'm typing it on my phone.
Yeah. No, please, check him out. Check these. I want to see what else. Hold on. There's so much like that I just stumble across.
Mhm.
And I guess that's the beauty of the internet. You just find stuff that you would maybe not find if you were just relying on MTV. Remember when they were a music
Oh,
station?
Yeah, TRL, man. I tuned in at
Yeah.
3 o'clock.
And me too, man. Me
Mhm.
too. I'm trying to see who else. All my playlists are like Billie Holiday essentials, and
Mhm.
Beyonce, and let me see hip hop wise, new rap, Kendrick Lamar, um, J. Cole. I mean, they've been around for a minute.
Mhm.
Sampha. Sampha's dope.
Sampler?
Sampha, Sampha. He's dope. Sabrina Claudio, Jessie Reyes, Georgia Smith. These girls are like, oh my God. They're like, I think most of them are British, except for Jessie Reyes. I think she's Canadian. But British got like this soul.
Yeah,
The
for sure.
British soul invasion is like amazing.
Amy Winehouse, for sure.
Oh my God.
oh, Amy.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm dead, bro. Oh my God. Yeah. She was everything that I wanted music to go towards. She was like the modern day Billie Holiday. And I find it so cool to have such a soulful throwback vibe of a record, and she's using profanity on it, which was like unheard of back then. Not that like I'm not like promoting profanity, but it just adds this edginess to that vibe that was just like, oh my God, this is cool. But along with her incredible voice and
oh yeah.
songwriting and,
Yeah.
and the incredible production that she had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so happy you said that. Yeah.
Me
Amy
too. I was like,
Winehouse.
man, I'm gonna go listen to her after this.
Yeah, that Back to Black album, you could listen from beginning to
Yeah.
end with no worries.
Oh,
Being that Amy Winehouse is somebody you admire, is there any other musicians that you might admire too, where you just like, damn, like they're such good role models. They're so, I want to work with them. I want to meet them. Like anybody you admire?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people like behind the scenes that people might not know about.
Okay.
Like, I'd love to work with Max Martin, who is, he did the NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, like Britney Spears back then, but then he's also doing The Weeknd. He's doing Katy Perry. He's doing, like, he is, like, people don't know about this guy, but he's had God knows how many #1 records and just such a tasteful approach to melody and production. Swedish dude. A lot of like those pop hits, and even to this day, is like this group of like Swedish producers and songwriters that have shaped the sound of our music, which I find incredible.
Yeah. Like
Of our
ABBA,
pop
right?
music. What's up?
Like ABBA? They're Swedish.
Yeah, I think they're Swedish too. I think Ace of Base was Swedish.
No way.
oh
Yeah, I
really?
think so. I'm pretty sure they were. I might be making that up.
All right.
Someone Google it. Someone Google that.
I'm gonna Google it right now.
Yeah, I think they were Swedish. They had that sound.
Well, while you Google that, I'm going to ask a random question. Not
Yay.
that all of them haven't really been random, but this one is more random.
Okay.
What is the most useless talent you have?
That's a good question. I like these. I could do like impersonations.
Oh wow.
And maybe it could be useful like in the future. I'd love to be able to do like animation or like do a cartoon, or I would love to get into acting.
Mhm.
But yeah, probably that. Right now it's useless. I mean, it makes people laugh, so I guess it's useful. I don't know.
Who's your go-to impression?
Oh, just like an old woman from New York.
Yeah,
Oh, I need to hear that.
Oh
you
man,
definitely you did it to yourself, bro. Let's do it.
you know, Jose, I've been seeing you grow up forever. I remember when you were in number 5 school. You know, you've grown up so much, and you.
Oh, that's spot on. That is so funny.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Thanks.
Hey, if it weren't for music right now, what would you be doing? Impersonations?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I have no clue what I would do if I didn't have music in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd probably be working in my family's business.
Mm.
That's probably something I would do. But I wonder, like I've gotten so fed up with just, you know, the industry sometimes and just chasing this dream. Where I quit. I must have quit like a million times, but I can't stop. I can't stop making music. Like, what am I gonna do? What would I do?
Yeah.
I got, you know what I mean? I had dreams of being like a professional baseball player growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And once middle school hit and these kids were like bigger and stronger, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work out for me. And my kindergarten picture says I wanted to be a basketball player, which is
Yeah.
kind of hard at 5'7", you know what I mean? So that didn't pan out. I don't know. I feel like you got to be realistic with sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's not possible. Like Muggsy Bogues, shorter than me, and that guy was killing it.
Yeah. I actually just mentioned his name yesterday because
Yeah.
I was watching a Laker game and Dwight Howard catches a rebound and then dunks it, right? And I was like, everybody around me was like, oh, you know. And I'm like, this dude is 7 feet tall. He's supposed to be doing
The
that.
guy's like, yeah.
Now, if it were Muggsy Bogues on the other hand, then I'd be impressed. So it's funny that
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned his name too.
Yeah. The guy just got to go like this. He got it. And he just, you know, little bump. And
That's so funny.
the guy's like 30 foot tall.
To answer y'all's question, or to give y'all an answer about Ace of Base, they are from Sweden. So
Oh, okay.
update.
That's everything I
So,
need. Thank you.
yeah, I wasn't making it up.
That's funny.
So you talked about being realistic, right? I want to ask you, there's so many kids that want to be the next producer, that want to be like the next Kanye. I'm glad you were being honest, you know, and saying how, like, you know, you've wanted to quit multiple times. What's the best advice that you've been given? And then, you know, what advice have you gave to others to want to be in the industry and to stay, I guess.
The best advice that was given is learn the business more than anything.
Mm.
You know, learn what you're getting into. You know, because some of these kids just want to, oh, I'm going to sign a record deal, but you don't know what's in that deal. You don't know if you're going to owe money at the end of that deal. You don't know if you're going to be locked and you can't even release music. And, you know, so learn the business first and foremost, because no one could, you know, mess with you, you know? No one could try to get you to sign something that might not be beneficial for you. The best advice that I would give is always be a student. You're never done learning, you know? and no matter what it is, whether it be the business, whether it be on the creative end, there's always something to learn. Even if you're great, the greatest have to be inspired by somebody.
Mm-hmm.
There's never, just stay humble, and be confident, in your work, but know that you still could learn and you still could get better at whatever it is that you do. And that, I think that goes for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You could always improve. We're flawed beings, we're not perfect. And the concept of perfection is like, it's unattainable. Like no one's ever going to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but you could always try to be the best at, the best version of yourself, or, the best at what you do. And even then you're like, I'm at my best, but I could get better.
Sure.
I
have a few questions about what you just said, but I think Darian, she looked like she wanted to say something.
Oh, no, I don't.
No? Okay.
No.
All right.
She's like, no, I'm perfect.
So you just spoke about learning, right? I mean, it's what you just said. I have like 10 questions about what you just said. My first question is what age do you have to start having an interest in music? I mean, talking about like not listening, but like because if I'm in high school and then I'm thinking like, okay, where's my next step? Do I go to school? You talked about education. Is there a school that I go to learn about this? Or should I have been playing in the band years ago and then have learned this? Or where do I go if I want to learn about music?
So for me growing up, I just had an interest. I saw a trumpet and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fortunate enough that my dad bought me a trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I studied a book. I learned out of a book. I would read and learn. I taught myself how to read music through books.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, if your school has a music program, definitely take advantage of that, because it's only gonna get your chops up. If they don't, we don't have YouTube, and YouTube, you can get a college education on YouTube. It's crazy how much information there is out there for people today. And I find myself, I go on YouTube to this day. Like if I want to learn like gospel chords, or I want to learn some new jazz things on the keyboard, I'll go on YouTube and learn. There's so much out there. That's like the beauty of the internet today. Information is like that, so where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to learn, you will.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can't get with learning an instrument. I do think it's better to start learning anything at a younger age.
Yeah.
Your mind is a sponge, at that age. It's kind of like learning a language. I learned English when I was like 4 or 5. And if I were to try to learn it today at I don't want to give my age.
I know your age.
Yeah, my it's so much harder at an older age. So if you could, if you're a parent and you see your kid has interest in something, like let him run with it, be supportive, and do whatever you can to support that. Because I think not only does interest in something help that interest, but I think it helps other aspects of life as well. Like with music, you can't get discouraged. Like when I was learning guitar, I remember like, I didn't play it right, but I wouldn't be discouraged that I didn't play it right. I'd be like, okay, that didn't work, so I know I'm that much closer. Like I could rule that out. I'm closer. I wouldn't be like, oh man, I can't. You can't do that. You have to be so interested to the point, even when you're wrong, you're hyped that that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like trial and error type of thing.
Sure.
I wish kids knew that.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting interest somehow.
And you spoke about, getting locked into a situation. So I want to continue on with the education aspect of it, right? Because, this is why I built this platform, is so that people, especially people that we know, can listen to see what Hakan is up to. But for those that are interested in doing something, like, this is a great platform for that, because you're essentially giving them free knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your
Hold on. I'm not getting paid.
nah, bro. I don't
I'm
have
just playing.
anything.
I'm
Yeah.
just playing, bro. Come on.
I like
Um, this is a
Okay.
perfect time to ask all these questions. I mean, I'm learning so much, and this is what I love about this podcast, is I get to meet so many new people, so many, interests, so many hobbies, so many career paths. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still developing. So I might, who knows? Tomorrow I might say, you know what, Hakan, I bought me a little drum machine. You know what I'm saying? This is what I got. And who knows, I might be the next DJ Khaled. You know what I'm saying?
You never know,
So,
man.
in your opinion, is it better to be independent, or is it better to be locked into a situation at, like, a major record label?
It's all circumstantial. Like it all depends on the terms, where you're at in your career. It's crazy because nowadays I feel like a label is not even going to pay attention to you unless you're already generating something yourself.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see your numbers up. They want to see your followers up. It's not really about how talented you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how much. It's become not a music industry. It's become an attention industry. Like how much attention can you grab towards yourself, and how long can you hold that attention for? Um, but it's a business. That's kind of like what you have to remind yourself. It's not so much about the music. It's about the business. I mean, I'm gonna make it about music because that's what I do, you know. Um, but I think just being true to yourself. If obviously starting independent, and once you start independent and you start, gaining fans and followers and plays, people are listening to your music, then labels will come to you.
Mm-hmm.
To I think that's the best way. And when a label comes to you, that kind of shows that you have some clout, you have some
Leverage.
leverage. Yeah, that's a better word than clout. I don't like the word clout. Clout is corny. Why'd I say that? Can we edit that out? But yeah, you have leverage, and I've had friends where labels have approached them, and they're like, "No, I don't want to sign. I don't want to be locked to you. I want to own my music."
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is very noble and very inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it depends on the situation. If you've already built like obviously like a Bieber or something, it's a different story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a way different story. But if you're independent and you're doing well independently, keep running with that and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And if a major does approach you, make sure you read everything and sign it. Like, I don't know if I feel bad for people who just sign deals
Mm-hmm.
and get screwed, because it's like, did you not read it, or were you just hyped that you got a deal, or maybe you don't have a lawyer that was great? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
That's a good point. There's a lot of numbers, right? Music is not just music. When it comes to, like, producing music for the radio, there's a lot of numbers that go behind everything like that. Besides YouTube, and besides, like, a major college affiliation, what other avenues can I look into to learn, about, number of plays, and, what it costs to make a hit, and things like that? Is there anything?
I don't think it costs much nowadays to make a hit, because we don't know what a hit is until the people say it's a hit.
Mm.
Like, even, you hear stories of these rappers, they buy a beat online for $200, and then they record a song, and then it just goes viral and changes their life. That one song changes their life. I think it's more so, I mean, it's like that old saying, it's who you know, it's it's all about relationships
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, maintaining good relationships with people and working together with them to create something big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't
Yeah.
like in terms of cost, you don't need, obviously with I think with maybe more so with hip hop nowadays, it's like you don't need a huge studio. You don't need thousands and thousands of, or if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gear.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it at home,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to take this time to say how much, you know what I'm saying, like I've admired you. I think you're super talented, you know what I'm saying. This is
Oh, thank
another
you.
reason why me and Darren have built this platform, is to tell people, like, you know what I'm saying, you're doing a great job, and we love you, and we want to hear you be successful and continue that success. We lost touch for a while. It's been long. I can't even remember the last time we talked, but I've always, you know what I'm saying, like hit likes on your photos on Instagram. And I've always, wished that you would be well. So now that I have this platform, I want to be able to say it virtually to your face, you know what I'm saying, that you're doing a great, great job.
Thank you,
So
man.
keep it up. You know what I'm saying?
You
What's
too. You too. I listened to the previous episodes and I love what you got going on.
Thank you.
It's so informative and like you get to see perspectives of people from, you know, different walks of life and different careers, and it's really eye-opening. I love hearing different perspectives, and
Oh, that's awesome, man.
that's what I love about this podcast.
Yeah,
You guys
thank you
are
so
awesome.
much.
No, thank you for bringing this light to the world, man.
So what's next for Hakan? What do we what can we expect? You know what I'm saying? Like, is there anything new and exciting that you got going on that you want to share? Besides sound bites on Fridays.
Um, I can't share too much, like in terms of who, but I have a song coming out with that I worked on with a really big artist, like a household name.
Mhm.
Um, and when that comes out, I will definitely let you know. You
Oh,
know,
please. I
I'm
would
sure
love.
you'll see it on the gram, like you know who it is.
Yeah.
I've been developing artists, um, and yeah, I've been working on these sample packs, which has been a whole lot of fun. Kind
Mhm.
of, you know, like making these packs for other producers that they could sample without having to worry about sample clearance. Because
Mhm.
you know, like you hear these old hip hop records and these guys are taking 80 to 100% of the record that, you know, and
Mhm.
now it's what's left is nothing. Like Jay-Z's like Hard Knock Life. I don't think he was able to clear that sample.
Mhm.
He made no money off of that record. And
Yeah.
yeah. So trying, you know, doing those and hopefully I'd love to get back into performing live again, uh, whether it be just me or, you know, playing an instrument for an artist once the world kind of comes back to normal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
um is there a place where artists can reach you? Do you have like a website, or is it okay to give out your email? Like, how do artists get in touch with you if you're interested in working with them?
Hit me on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, at HAQQMAV.
That's awesome. That's all. I
That's
have a
me.
lot of friends who I think you would really appreciate the direction that they're going in. Obviously, when it comes to price, you let them know what it is, but I would love to see, I would love to be the middleman between, you know what I'm saying, you and some of the people I've met in the past. So I'll
Yeah,
definitely.
man. Let me know, bro. I respect your taste in music. I feel like that's something that we connected on at such an early age. You know,
Yeah, nah,
that's
man.
one.
Again, you know what I'm saying. I love everything you represent, man. I've always been a big fan. Yo, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so
It's
much.
my pleasure.
You know, I
Thank you guys for having me. You guys are
I
awesome.
hit you on Insta, and you responded so quickly. I didn't think that you would respond. You know what I'm saying? So
Bro.
Cause
You know, I got mad love for you,
this
bro.
big time artist, you know what I'm saying?
Get out of here, bro. We grew up in the same town. Like I'll never forget walking out of school every day. Convict.
And that was before Akon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cause
that was way before Akon. Because that started in like
your name, just you know. I was thinking like, how can I in my mind, how can I make his name sound gangster? Right?
Yeah.
So,
I remember it. And that was every day. And like, if I didn't see you, like if I didn't get the Convict, like, and you weren't there, I'm like, where's Jose today? Like my day was like, there was something missing in my day.
Oh man!
If I didn't see you on the walk out of school.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I actually met Akon not too long ago.
Oh, you did?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I hear he's a nice guy.
Oh, he's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
So chill. What's up?
I was gonna say he's about to build this new Wakanda out there in Africa, like a real Wakanda.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what he's doing, dude. Building crazy infrastructure.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing. Super chill guy. Super nice. He came up to me.
Oh wow.
I didn't even go up to him. I was in Popeyes in Detroit airport waiting for my food, waiting for my flight. And while I'm waiting for my food, because it was like 15 minutes for spicy, I wanted spicy.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me pull out the laptop, start working on some music. And he comes and it's
Can I interrupt you? Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Chicken tenders or bone? With the bone?
Tenders, no bone.
Okay.
I think I got no, with the bone. I got drumstick, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. But I like the drumsticks.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good.
Gotcha.
Now I'm on Popeyes. I've been eating healthy. I might have to cheat today. But yeah, I'm sitting there with the laptop, and I saw him walk in, and I'm like, that looks like him. But I don't want to be too sure. And he sits next to me. He goes, what are you working on, some music? I'm like, yeah. I was like, you do music? He's like, yeah. I was like, what's your name? He goes, Akon. And I was like, oh, I knew that was you. And we chopped it up. We were like, I played him some music. He gave me his number. And
oh, wow.
So yeah, I've been sending him music.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Akon.
Yeah.
Love Akon.
Yeah, he's dope, man.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I love it. Hey, if you have more stories like that, like, where you've got to speak to like artists that I know, that you want to share, please hit me up. I would love to hear more stories.
No doubt, man.
Because I know you've worked with like Queen Latifah before and some other. So shout out to Faye Sean. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how long he's been around, but he's Nas's artist. For anybody listening, love hip hop. He's Nas's artist. Hakan recently did a beat for him that came out in July, I believe. And
wow, it's been that long already?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I feel like it was like last week. I know, man.
So please let me know, these stories. I love them.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, man. Hey, thank you so much again. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have any other questions, let's take it out.
All right. Thank you again. It was so nice to finally be able to meet you.
Likewise.
Thank you guys again for listening to another episode of Coast to Coast.